Good morning, girls. Our resource person is joining the event in few minutes. She is already in the session. A very good morning to one and all present in the meet. To start with few highlights about the college, Meher Chand Mahajan DAV College for Women, Chandigarh is a landmark institution in women's education in North India. The college has been re-accredited with Grade A by NAC and ranked among top 50 colleges at national level as per surveys conducted by India Today in the Week magazine. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to the today's webinar on the role of intellectual property rights in constructing green environment, organized by Department of Environment Science in collaboration with MCM Eco Club Parivesh under the aegis of College Institutions Innovation Council 4.0. Today, we are here to celebrate World Environment Day, which is celebrated globally on June 5 every year to raise awareness about various environmental issues. The official theme of the day this year is Only One Earth. Only One Earth was also the slogan of First United Policies together with environmental laws play a key role in addressing many global environmental issues. Intellectual property rules fundamentally affect the quality and availability of innovative ideas and products and are therefore extremely important in achieving sustainable development, ensuring human health, and protecting the environment. I warmly welcome our worthy principal, Dr. Nisha Bhargava, in the meet and thanks her for her continuous motivation and encouragement. Now, I would like to take opportunity to introduce our resource person for today's webinar, Dr. Gurpreet Kaur. Dr. Gurpreet Kaur is currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry, Punjab University. She did her BSc, MSc and PhD from the same department. Dr. Kaur is one of the recipients of DST Inspire Faculty Award 2012. She is a physical chemist and works in the field of colloidal chemistry. Her area of research deals with the fabrication of value-added surfactants, mainly the metal functionalized surfactant for wide spectrum applications, including formation of bioactive materials, their interaction with biomolecules like DNA, protein, etc., antimicrobial surfactants, photodynamic therapy, microbial corrosion inhibitors, and electrocatalysis. She has more than 90 publications in international journals, including review articles, book chapters, and 4 Indian patents. 2 have been granted and 2 have been filed. I welcome Dr. Gurpreet in the meet. Before we start, I request participants to turn on their camera for a group picture.
Yes, girls, it's request to everyone. Please turn on your cameras.
Thank you, girls. Now I request Dr. Kaur to share her expertise on the topic.
Well, thank you, Dr. Shafila, for a nice introduction. At the outset, first I would like to thank Madam Principal, Dr. Disha Bhargava, for inviting me, and I am thankful to Dr. Indu Arora, Vice President of Innovation Institution Innovation Cell. I'm also very thankful to the convener, Dr. Neetu, and coordinators, Dr. Shafila, Noor, and Ms. Sandeep. I am here for presenting a topic which is very important and need of the hour. So I think in next 40 minutes, I will make, I think what I understand is that most of our students are from undergraduate area. So I have made a presentation which is very acceptable for you so that you can understand the new terminology, what IPRs is, and what IPRs are all about and why do we need them. And then last part of my presentation would take you to the sustainable goal, which we are all looking in for. So let me just share my presentation and then we will start. Is it visible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am,
ma'am.
it is.
Okay. So, so my intention is that after 40 minutes, all of you must have some takeaway message with you, which helps you to construct a green environment around you, right? So let us see what the role of intellectual property rights is in constructing green environment. So the good news is that intellectual property rights have greater public visibility these days. People talk about it. We discuss this aspect at various podiums. But the bad news is that all of it is, most of it, I would say, is misguided skepticism. Now, let us understand what basically intellectual property means. Intellectual property is a property that arises from human intellect. It is a product of human creation. It can be any invention, it could be any literary or artistic work, it can be any design. See, as you have property, like you own a car or a house and you have papers for them and you have a legal claim on them. Same way, we can have legal claim on our human inventions. And there are different types and categories and into which these human intellect has been divided, and there are different protocols by virtue of which we get legal rights of them. I will give a very brief outline what it is all about and how it is used, what are various agencies which are engaged, what is the international scene, what is the domestic scene, and how everyone is working to save the planet Earth. So let us take a glance of what IPRs are. I think most of you must have heard of these words, and these vocabulary must be around you. What a patent is, what trademarks are, copyright, industrial design, trade secret, geographical indications. So these are main categories of intellectual property rights. But after giving you a glance, I will explain them in our coming up slides. But let us first know, why do we need these intellectual property rights? See, when you have got ownership of your house, you own something, you have property, you have assets. Same way, if you have got assets or you have got license of your invention, it helps you. It helps you in generating infrastructure. It helps you in generating more innovation. It helps you in streamlining the process of getting that product into the market. So you can have rights of your intellectual invention, intellectual thought, intellectual writing, and that rights can be in form of your legal papers which you have them. All right, and these intellectual properties, they are even mentioned in Article 27 of your Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So basically, when you talk about intellectual property, see, if I own a house in India, those papers are valid only in India, right? You cannot go and claim that this much land is available with you in USA or in Europe. Same way, these intellectual properties and its rights, they are territorial in nature. It belongs to your country, the where that rights have been filed for or where you claim for those rights, let it be any country. And then these intellectual property rights can be assigned, can be gifted, can be sold, can be licensed like any other property. So, how does it help us? Basically, the intellectual property rights, they are core of the advancement and development of technology. See, if I will tell you in coming up slides how economic structure of various developed countries are based on these property rights. So, whenever you conceptualize any of your invention in the form of proprietary rights, that is exclusive rights, so you can in a way transfer them, you can in a way license them, you can in a way sell them to the company or to any industry for 20 years. Different rights have got different conditions. So the crux of the matter is that if you protect your intellectual property, it always gives incremental enhancement, or you can say it always gives you extra incentive for the work you have carried out. For the It can be either any product which you have made, it can be any process you are talking about, it can be anything, because it covers a very wide spectrum of processes and products. So basically, these rights, they give incentives to individuals who have created them. It gives recognition to inventors. It gives material reward, that means in terms of money. And moreover, it helps you to attain the genuine and originality of the product. See, if any company, say Sony, has got exclusive rights of preparing a television, right, which has got a very good picture quality, which has got a very good sound quality. So only they know how it is made, and they have got the rights that no one else can have that information. So that product has got a value addition. Now people will buy Sony because of that, and no one in the market can compete with those things, right? So then you have got extra amount of money associated with it, extra amount of fame associated with it. So these properties help in many ways. They capture the value of invention. It helps in the investment and developing them. And also, if you want to scale them up to a larger level. So it's very important that we must understand, like any what our rights are as a citizen of a country. See, we talk about human rights, we talk about having quality of food, good quality water as human rights these days. Same way, you have right to protect your intellect also, and we must be familiar with what is intellectual property all about, and how we can protect them, and what are the benefits we can get out of them. So the basic purpose of having intellectual property law is to encourage the creation of wide variety of intellectual goods. And this property protection even allows individuals to profit from their innovations. You have more creative ideas, you can innovate, you can talk about newer things, because sometimes you don't have investment ki aapka new idea, people can invest in the new idea. So if you haven't got a patent on anything new, because patent is always given for a very innovative and new thing which is not there in the market before, so you can easily sell that patent. I would not say it is that easy, but you can sell that patent and get money, and then you can always go ahead with more innovations, and that promotes the technological progress. So basically, IP and this technological environment have got a framework. It is just not one set of thing or one set of people or only the scientists who are working. We are working on any invention, we created a particular product, and we are selling them into market. But it is a whole together a value chain which works in this area. So you have lawyers, attorneys who talk about all the legal framework, what will be the rules, what will be the royalty, what will be the what all legal commodities which are included. Then what would be the enforcement laws? If people don't go by those laws, what will be the punishment if infringement takes place? So this intellectual property value chain is a very big network, it is a very large ecosystem. And IP is just one part of that ecosystem, because it includes, there is research and development which is taking place. Then you have to have the capital. That investment can be from the private sector, it could be a government funding or a venture capital. Then you need professional services like lawyers, attorneys, financial experts who can talk about, who can protect your IP. make a legal framework, and they can maintain that IP, and then financing can be easily taken up by the financial experts so that the tracking of the product can be done, and then the licensing comes into picture. So this getting one product in market, it goes through such a number of steps that you require experts from various fields. So knowing about your rights and getting them converted into your use, or getting them to the last level, it's a real big task. It involves money, it involves time, it involves expertise. So if you don't have an idea what patents are, what trademark is, what IP is all about, you cannot really give worth to your work. All right, because whenever you go and do something new, which we call innovation, right? So innovation or novelty requires a certain amount of information first. Then only we can talk about, okay, this is something new, this is something different, this is something more useful. And now we are shifting all this aspect of something new and innovation towards getting a greener technology. Why? Because we want to sustain and we want to save the earth. Whatever has been done in the past has now been focused only and only towards protecting the environment. So all the innovation in today's scenario is being focused in how we can create a greener globe, how we can sustain that greener globe, and how we can earn money out of it also, how we can have an easy life out of it also. So these IPRs, they help us to fight with many global challenges. Greener technology is obviously one of them and is the most important one. But other than that, we have, all of us have seen, last 2 years have been really very tasking when we talk about the pandemic and COVID thing. So WHO has been working on essential drugs before COVID also. I want to say that internationally, people are working, on different sectors that solves the problem of a common man in every country, I would say. See, health is important. Your agriculture, hunger is another aspect. Many of us are not in only in India, but in other developing countries and other African countries, they don't even have ample amount of food. So innovative agriculture ideas helps to create more uh, you know uh, vegetables and more food, so that you can solve and get breakthrough solutions to which our globe is fighting for. And third important, which is I won't say one, two, or three. Another important aspect is, on today's demand, is alternate energy sources, or maybe you can talk about green technology, because we need to address climate change, which is very, very, very important aspect of, or you can say, need of the hour. So basically, why IPRs have got such a great importance, or why people are now talking about, you would say, research तो होती ही है, research तो बहुत देर से होती आ रही है. There are, people work with different innovations, and every day you have new product in the market, let it be any electronic thing or let it be any household gadget. So but what has been seen in the past, that what America is today is because of its IP. America had understood the role of IP way back when people were just thinking about it. See, IP's international property rights have got existence. They are existing since 1800s, and it was America who initiated, Europe who propagated, and in today's time, America's IP is worth $5.8 trillion, which is more than the nominal GDP of any country. So whatever trade or whatever work is being carried out there, it is directly contributing. See, if you have got exclusive right of exporting something, all the money will come to your country, right? So the direct or indirect economic impacts of innovation in America is like 40% of their US economy, and its growth and employment is directly or indirectly related to the intellectual property. So you can see now people are focusing into this scene because of the strength, or you can say the economic growth what they have seen in America because of IP. I don't know how many of you know that Edison, was pioneer of many things, who worked on many aspects of science, has got 1,000 patents. And you can well imagine in which time Edison used to work. There was a conflict between using AC and DC. It was early 90s. So 1,000 patents means what he created bulb. He has got a patent on that, and wherever in the world that bulb is being used, the money is going to America. So you can see the power of a patent, or power of the exclusive right, or the legal, or the property they own. So understanding the role of IP in economic growth, now the governments, they are taking initiative in strengthening these IPs, IPR, what IPRs are. We need to also not only know what our rights is about IPR, but we also need to strengthen the legal and legislative framework, how forcibly we enforce these laws. So I think this lecture series, or this topic, is one of the outreach activity, so that you become aware of what intellectual property is all about, and we how we can take our work to that level. So basically, intellectual property is divided into two aspects. One is your literature and artwork, and one is your industrial property, the physical matter, what you see around you. So when you need to protect your artistic or literary work, it is done by copyright, which is one part of the IPR. However, your industrial property, it is protected either by getting patents, or by getting trademarks registered, or we can register an industrial design. For example, how an iPhone will look like, how the Samsung phone will look like. I think you must have heard the legal war between Samsung and the iPhone, who has changed, they copied each other and something, and they went into a legal war. That legal war was all about because the companies have got their IPs registered, their industrial designs was registered with them, and nobody else can copy them. And if they have copied, they have to pay certain amount, or whatever the infringement laws are in that particular country. One has to go through it. You have trade secrets. Trade secret is flavor of Maggie. You must have seen in the past how Maggie thing blew up in our country, and people were, its ingredients may, there is something like that, where it was a whole lot of a debate was there, but no one could even after getting after Nestle so badly, people couldn't get out what the real ingredients of Maggie is. The reason is that their trade secret has been registered, and it is a legal document. No one can have the access to that. All right. So it has been done in a very legal manner, in a very thoughtful manner. Nobody could harm you, right? So Maggie is back in the market because they couldn't find any flaw in that. So similarly, layout designs. Then another is geographical indications. I will explain that in the coming slides. So basically, this slide tells you, just a comic slide. All I asked was, can I patent my copyrighted trademark? So there is a difference. There is a difference what patent is, what copyright is, what trademark is. Or these are different categories of your intellectual property. Patent, I think many of you know this word, what patent is. It is an exclusive right given to the inventor so that others cannot process, use, or sell, or even manufacture the patented invention and offering, and this is done in a given definite geographical area. If I've got an Indian patent, it is valid only in India. If I have got a US patent, it is valid, these laws are valid only in US. So for getting anything patent, it has to be new, novel idea. It should be useful for the people. It should not be obvious thing कि ये if you put salt in water उसमें तो dissolve होना ही है, ऐसा कुछ obvious idea, obviously you cannot get that patented. And it should pertain to the subject matter, what you're really working on. And what trademarks looks like, I think most of you can relate to the icons which are present on the slide. By looking at the icon or the logo or the design, you can directly correlate it with the object, or that is any process, or that is any service or any good. See, trademark can be a symbol, it can be a logo, it can be a word, it can be a sound. You must have heard a sound whenever there is advertisement of Airtel. So even that is being registered. So you have got an organization. In every country has got their own framework. We have controller of patents. We have got agencies where you can register them, and you can simply identify a product or any business service. Or see, if I'm giving you the example of Airtel, so no one can copy that, neither the colors, nor the font, nor the size, nor the way the see, if you take the example of Coca-Cola, how the bottle looks like, Pepsi cannot have the same thing. Nobody in the market can use it. So it directly adds value to the product. It directly adds value to the company. So trademarks, it can be located either on the package, it can be a label, or you can have it on the product itself. If you can have ever seen Cadbury's chocolate, so Cadbury's is also written on the chocolate itself, not only on the wrapper. So the trademarks are mainly used for the industrial or commercial purposes, whereas your patents are used in both the ways. They are used in commerce also, and they are used in your R&D and scientific ideas also. The third important type of IPR is your copyright. It mainly deals with your literature. You must have seen, whenever you switch on the TV and you see any serial on that, first slide is copyright protected for the year 2019, year 20. So different copyrights, different intellectual properties covers all the aspect, and they have got different conditions. Patents are granted for 20 years, where trademarks are registered for 10 years, and copyright you have to get it renewal every year. So what is not covered in copyright is ideas, facts, recipe books, anything which lacks originality basically. And the last most important is geographical indication. This means that an indication which identifies any good as originating from a particular country or territory. It adds to the reputation and characteristic of the good, and it increases its market value like anything. For example, you talk about Darjeeling tea. जब भी you buy a tea, you will see Assam tea है or it's a Darjeeling tea. It will have a special flavor, and people will give 10 times more money to get that special flavor. Same is like Mysore silk or Nagpur oranges. So adding this geographical indication is very latest to IPRs, and it gives very meaningful incremental value to the product. So internationally, this system is being operated by many treaties and bodies. These 5 or 6 organizations which you see on the screen are the most important one. And whatever you talk about IPRs and things, you will always come to become familiar with these organizations or these words. So it's very important to understand what they are before we go and understand what sustainable chemistry or sustainable technology really means. So one important body is TRIPS, related to trade. Then is WIPO, that is World Intellectual Property Organization. Then is WTO. Then is your European Union. what they really talk about and what they work on, let us quickly see a glance of that. Basically, World Intellectual Property Organization WIPO is a specialized agency which promotes IP throughout the world. All right. And in 2004, they declared that most of the focus will be on the needs of developing countries so that IP becomes one of the tool for their development. See, now you can see how important IP are. So basically, other than these convention and bodies, there are very important international conventions which work and which take into consideration all the different IPs. One is Paris Convention, it protects industrial property. One is Bernese Convention, it protects literary and artwork. ट्रिप्स आपने बहुत बार सुना भी होगा. Our Prime Minister is really working hard these days for creating or for becoming member of TRIPS. Then is WCT, which is WIPO Copyright Treaty, which basically includes your digital agenda after all that electronic stuff has come into picture. Then is Patent Cooperation Treaty. See, I have told you that IPs are geographical in nature. I can have patent in India. I can have patent in USA. Same thing. I can have patent in Japan. I can have patent in Europe. There's nothing like international or world patent. So, Patent Cooperation Treaty is, if you are a member of this treaty, you can simultaneously file for the patent in all those countries who are part of this. So this saves times and money. So Paris Convention, you can easily find this information on Google, how they work, what things they take into consideration. All international trade is accompanied by the rules which are given under Paris Convention. And many different countries, most of them are now part of this convention to have international trade. And when you talk about literature and artwork, so that people don't copy each other's work, for that international body is Bernese Convention, which protect literature and artwork. WIPO, I have already told you. WCT comes into picture when this digital agenda or technology arose. When phones and laptops came into picture, what will be the programming? What are the different aspects? Everything, every legal fundamental aspect of digital environment is taken care by WCT. And TRIPS is when you have international trade. When you become member of TRIPS, only then you can have import and export with those countries, and the laws, the legal framework, everything, the quality of your material, everything is being administrated by this has to be under the agreement and follow the condition. Every nation has to follow the condition or the agreement given by TRIPS. So I hope you understand the meaning of these words. It's a new vocabulary, I must say, but only then you can understand what green technology or sustainability really means. So I've explained this, that in simultaneously you can have patent in many countries because there is nothing like international patent, but you can file according to PCT, you can get patent in large number of countries who are member of that PCT. So in India, let us quickly take a glance. Earlier people were very hesitant. Who will get into this legal things? Who will hire a lawyer? Who will give extra money to them? So it resulted in death of many inventions. And I already told you that developed countries are developed because they have got IPR strength with them, and that too from very long time. So now the scenario is different. As I've told you, the present government is really working hard to become member of TRIPS and other, getting compliance with other agencies. And in 2016, they have framed the National Ipr Policy, which aims to create synergy between all forms of IP and its status and residency, whether it's a government institute, R&Ds, your MSMEs, your startups. आप ये सारे words सुनते होगे, but what it really means and what they are really focusing on is just developing a good economy strength, so that we have a material which are at compliance at international level, we can export them, and if we export them, obviously we are going to earn, and if we are going to earn, we will become more strong as a nation. So they have laid 7 objectives, and I think the today's lecture is fulfilling the first objective, which is outreach and promotion or IPR awareness to different sections of society. So we are really focusing and starting from the grassroots levels, because tomorrow you are the one who are going to work or do research in different areas when you reach your post graduation and higher education level. So if you are aware what you can do with your work, it will add value, it will add meaning. I would say every research is new and you can get patent out of it. Only thing is, if you know how to get it. All right. So let us come to how these IPRs, they help us create green environment, and what people are doing around the globe to create this green environment. So when I was preparing this lecture, I got this sentence, and I think that is the most important one, so I put it in my slide, that growing green is not an option, but it is necessary for the continuous survival of human existence. Right? It is that important, because your non-renewable sources, they are finite, they will end one day, so you need alternatives. So green technology is a very broad term. It includes variety of products and systems. So green technology really means that one needs to encourage sustainability, we need to have low greenhouse gas emission, and we should help to find solution for climate change. So for that, what is green intellectual property then? So any innovation which is working in doing all this, that is, it helps to create green environment either by decreasing the gas effect, carbon dioxide emission, or protecting environment in any way. If we protect that innovation in a legal manner, that is green intellectual property. And you will see that International Patent Classification Committee has developed IPC Green Inventory, which works on many categories. For example, alternative energy source, energy conservation, transportation, waste management, agriculture, and its administrative levels, their designs, their regularity. Many aspects are being taken up by IPC Green Inventory. Other than IPC Green Inventory, there are other initiatives also which are taken around the globe. One is Clean Energy Research Center, that is initiated by US and China in 2009. That works in the area of clean energy. Then we have Joint Clean Energy Research and Development Center. Again, US and India is working on that. Another US created program is Green Technology Pilot Program. And then there are eco-patent commons. You must have seen many of the celebrities, they give ad on Sony TV, protect our environment, go green, go cycling, plantation drive. This is all part of eco-patent common, which is an initiative which was started in year 2008 by multinational firms like Sony, IBM, Nokia, in collaboration with World Business Council of Sustainable Development. And it aims to share knowledge and patents related to environment, energy saving, pollution prevention, recycling, and water conservation. So then a big initiative taken by WIPO is WIPO Green, which takes into account how we can develop and diffuse these green technology, whichever sector they want to work on. And WIPO is a platform, which takes public and private sector into consideration. They promote packaging. Basically, what they do is they create a global network and encourage partners with companies so that they can work on developing a green and sustainable technology, and they can have their IP protected in any of the form they want to, or they are valid for. So the provisions for these licensing are given under Paris Convention and TRIPS. We will not go into the details of the articles. And then you can have your national legislation. That means any country, For example, India has got freedom to add its own terms and conditions to that licensing agreement. All right. So, eco patents, I have told you that it's a non-profit initiative which provides environment friendly patents for environmental friendly inventions. And you must have heard about green patents. So, green patents is all about if any patent which is valuable in creating a sustainable environment or decreasing pollution or using waste management, people give that to that very country or that very company for free, because otherwise buying a patent is a very hefty, money, hefty amount of money is involved. But when you talk about saving the environment, people, they are filing or protecting the rights, but they are using those rights and they are giving it for free, because green technology, it falls in the category of open invention. We want to protect environment, and by coming together, the green technology has really diffused the boundaries between nations. The IP, which was earlier geographical in nature, has now become global. So this is just last few slides which talks about the success stories, how these patents or IP in green technology has helped in growing this green environment. So there was 73% enhancement seen when public and private sector combined working for the green tech development. So there are many examples where people have kept their trade secrets, but then also they have given the technology to the local conditions, so that in any way, the energy is saved, the climate is saved, the sustainability is attained. So around the globe people are working on, and the very latest example to this is a patent which is given to French company, which has given a biotechnological process that enables plastic waste recycling. So which is another topic where world is fighting for, because now the plastic is entering our ecosystem. So this company has filed a patent, but now it will be given free to the countries who really want to work on this aspect. So IP protection enables green technology to create, to adapt, and to distribute, right? So stronger protection of IP, it is an integral part of this process, getting a sustainable environment. So there are many contemporary challenges. We have talked about good part of the story. Let us see what the challenges are. Cost, and it is a very complex task when you talk about multi-nation thing. So they are working in a very systematic way internationally with regional organizations. Many NGOs are coming in, but still, the landscape is really very big, and how it's very costly and it is very complex task. So moreover, the licensing, it is not sufficiently used, because people are not aware of things, there is lack of knowledge, there is insufficient capital, especially when you talk about developing nations. And हम कहेंगे हमारे को खाना पहले दे दो, rather than saving कोई ऐसा नई इंडस्ट्री लगाएं जहाँ पे हम एनर्जी सेव करें. We will go for the more production of food. So not only us, other countries are also having many challenges. So it is really hard, although a very good framework has been created, but still it's a long way. So in future, mainly now the focus is on getting a low carbon future. We want to get carbon free or carbon dioxide free by 2050, and India is also part of that motive, where we want to have electric buses, want to have hydrogen as a source of power, and we should want to have a low carbon future. But again, the story is very complex and multifaceted attempt is required. Not only chemists can contribute, not only physicists can contribute, there has to be people from every section of society. A collective wisdom, inventiveness, and creativity is required for having a more effective way to shape a green future. And I would say that IP has a very important role to play in it. So I think most of you have got basic outline of IP and what it really offers, and now what we really want to extract out of it, right? So we need to control the climate change. We want that our future generations have the access what we had to, and but that too in a very greener manner. And for that, IP will help in development and diffusion of this technology, and it should be taken up to a broader context, as if we talk about a wide spectrum of its utility. So I think in order to conclude, I would say that it is necessary to adopt a change towards a more sustainable lifestyle based on green technology, which is part of the development of new global environment policy. A stronger protection of IP is also required. So I think you have, this is all what I want to say. And in the end, I would like the organizers, again, I would like to thank them, Dr. Nisha Bhargav, Dr. Bindu Arora, Dr. Neetu, Dr. Shafila, Ms. Sandeep, for having me on this podium so that I can share what I have with me regarding IP and greener environment and how we can create one. So thank you all. And in the end, I would end with a quote that important thing is science is not so much to obtain new facts as to we discover new ways of thinking about them. So this was said by Lawrence Bragg, one of a very Nobel laureate. So thank you.
Thank Dr. Shafila. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Gurpreet. Now it's time to have vote of thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. It is proud privilege to deliver vote of thanks for such an informative session on role of intellectual property rights in constructing green environment for celebrating World Environment Day. Indeed, the topic is very unique, and I'm extremely thankful to Dr. Nisha Bhargava, Principal and President of IIC at MCM, for supporting, encouraging, and allowing us to conduct this session. Now, I express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Gurpreet Kaur, Assistant Professor, DST Inspire Awardee, and for accepting our proposal and sparing her valuable time for delivering this informative and useful talk, which is very relevant in current scenario for saving environment. Madam, it is our pleasure to have you with us. I'm also thankful to the convener of IIC, Dr. Neetu, and coordinator of the event, Dr. Shafila, for their valuable suggestions and handling this event very meticulously. I thank the whole organizing committee of the event from the core of my heart for taking initiative and managing it and providing logistic support. Especially, I am thankful to Mrs. Sandeep Kaur and Madam Sonali. Last but not least, I thank the students and faculty members whose active participation made this event very meaningful. With this hope that this enriching session will go a long way in nurturing and preserving environment uh, and surroundings, I thank one and all and wish the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Gurpreet ma'am. Students, attendance link is there in the chat box. All of you, please fill the attendance link, come feedback form before leaving the session. Thank you, Gurpreet ma'am. Have a nice day. Thank you, ma'am.